On today's Noon Report, I'll be live at the University of Minnesota's Northrop Auditorium, where preparations are underway for a full week of performances by New York's Metropolitan Opera. And I'll also be reporting on the Minnesota Orchestra's trip to Australia, which begins later on today.
From the newsroom this noon, we'll talk about a musical effort to help Minnesota's needy. Close to 200 production workers at the Pepsi plant in Burnsville honor the driver's strike today and stay off the job. And in Philadelphia this morning, police used water cannons to try to overtake a radical group. The Noon Report is next.
A free gift certificate for 2 rooms of ServiceMaster carpet cleaning is just one reason to have Park reupholster your furniture now. Here are 5 more.
I had an old chair that meant a great deal to me.
The salesman was very nice. He didn't pressure us.
Looks just like new.
They put extra padding where it was needed.
It's Park Furniture.
Park Furniture Manufacturing.
They're just nice people.
Call Park for your reupholstery now while our ServiceMaster carpet cleaning gift certificates last.
It's a jungle out there, but with a new True Temper Swow, the gardening tool the English swear by, you can tame it easily. Introducing the Swow, now made in America. It saves you work with 3 cutting edges to get weeds at root level with an easy push-pull. It's shaped to reach all around and cultivate, furrow, or hoe in the hardest to get at places. The new True Temper Swow gardening tool. It will shine in your garden, too. Look for specially priced True Temper tools at participating stores.
You get to feeling kind of special because you're special at your country club market, your neighborhood store.
Save big on items you like best at country club markets. Kool-Aid, this economy can, makes 10 quarts, only $2.39. And with our coupon, you save another 40 cents. Kraft JL Select all-natural cheese, mild cheddar, medium cheddar, and mild Colby in the 1-pound package, just $1.59 at Country Club.
What's really special at Country Club is you.
Serving and informing the Twin Cities for 4 decades. This is WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul. And now, Bill Carlson, Debbie Ely, Bud Kraling, and Tony Parker bring you Channel 4's Noon Report.
Dawning of a new age, the turning of a new page.
They came together several weeks ago in the We Are the World fashion. They are Minnesota's artists trying to make music to solve a Minnesota problem, a shortage on the food shelves. Good afternoon, everyone. The result of that get-together is an album or record called Dawning. It is in the record stores now, and the writer of the music is Ryan Rayston Swanson, and she joins us today.
Hi.
This is the record. It's actually a 45, and it's going on the shelves this week, right?
That's correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, you'll be able to get it in all major record stores. There were 64 artists that contributed to the making of this 45. And everyone involved donated their time, their effort, the studio time, just everything. General Mills, Cargill, and Yoplait, they've given us very generous donations to get this off the ground for pressing and distribution. And this will go to domestic hunger, to end hunger in Minnesota. The problem basically here is that there's not that many people starving, but there are many people that are malnourished. And in fact, the number is staggering. And
you told me about that number earlier.
It would be the total population of the Twin Cities combined that use food shelves.
I have to wonder, we have seen so many relief records out now. The one, obviously, We Are the World is the big one. There was one around Christmas time. The gospel singers got together and put one together. Recently, I heard that in Texas, there was another relief record effort. Are we getting relief recorded out?
I think so. I do. I have to say that I think that perhaps a little bit, but we started this 3 years ago, my husband and I. And my husband has been working on this project for a long time, and we've written, he's written all the music, and we've written the lyrics, and we've always dreamt of this being something that would come from our hearts and would actually just help the people in Minnesota and here in the United States.
In a couple words, what's the reaction been to your record?
Great. It's been really super.
Okay. Ryan Rayston Swanson, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Protesters occupying the outer office of University of Minnesota President Kenneth Keller reached a compromise this morning with the Board of Regents. The dozen or so protesters have been in Morrill Hall since last Thursday in an effort to force the regents to take up the issue of South African divestiture before their June 13th meeting. The regents will meet with the students this Wednesday at 1:30 to discuss the university's $35 million investment in companies operating in South Africa. The protesters say the investments constitute support for apartheid. A construction worker injured over the weekend at Canterbury Downs remains in serious condition today. And it just so happens that that accident came at a time when OSHA is meeting with contractors and unions to talk about the recent increase in mishaps. 38-year-old Thomas Corcoran fell 20 feet from a scaffold late Saturday night. He was reportedly not wearing a helmet or harness. In March, one worker was killed and 2 others injured in another accident at Canterbury Downs. That OSHA meeting will be in about an hour, followed by a news conference at 4 o'clock. The OSHA meeting, incidentally, comes on the same day that OSHA has cited a contractor in connection with a recent accident at the Sherco 3 power plant. Rick Curl of Aberdeen fell to his death when a support that he was standing on collapsed. A semi-truck collided with a car around 9:30 this morning, backing up traffic on eastbound 94 just west of the LaSalle Bridge. Miraculously, the vehicles fared worse than the drivers. A Hearst tool truck was called in to remove someone from the wreckage, but only one person was taken to the hospital with back pain, and Hennepin County medical officials say the injuries are not serious and they expect to release that man today. The latest on Saturday's lightning strike that hit 6 people under a tree in Minneapolis. 1 person is dead, 2 others remain hospitalized in serious condition. 20-year-old Darrell Scoy died yesterday. He and 5 others from a softball team were huddled under a tree when the lightning hit. A violent confrontation this morning between Philadelphia police and members of a radical group that refused to leave a rundown house. Police used water cannons and tear gas, and both groups exchanged gunfire. More than 200 families were evacuated. The group calls itself The Move and is against modern conveniences, among other things. I should say they're against modern conveniences, among other things. Move and police had a confrontation in 1978 that ended in some deaths. No word on casualties in this particular case. Pope John Paul addressed the World Court in The Hague today as he continues his trip to the Netherlands. Security is extremely tight after yesterday's violent demonstrations. Many there are upset over the Pope's policies on female priests, married clergy, abortion, and homosexuals. His trips to Amsterdam and Rotterdam were canceled because authorities thought that it would be too dangerous. Gary Dotson is a free man today, but not free from his guilty verdict in his controversial rape case. Illinois Governor Jim Thompson announced yesterday that Dotson should go free, that no justice would be served by keeping him in prison. But he fell short of saying that Dotson is innocent in the rape of Kathleen Crowell, and Dotson still hopes that he will be cleared, maintaining the story that he didn't do it.
I know I'm not going back, and for now that's all that matters.
The governor felt that Kathleen Crowell lied when she took back the story that she was raped. At the Pepsi plant in Burnsville this morning, production union workers honored a strike by drivers, which is now in its 2nd week. Close to 200 are on strike, and an additional 200 production workers also stayed off the job. It's been difficult to determine whether this strike will affect the local distribution of Pepsi. Time now to check in with Bud Kraling in the Weather Center for an update on today's weather. Bud?
Well, despite what seems like a lot of rainy weather in the metro area, officially we're about 0.17 of an inch below the average to this day. And you see in our 24-hour precipitation report that less than 1/10 of an inch in southeastern Minnesota, Redwood Falls, the metro area, and Rochester, with some heavier rain in northwestern Minnesota, a 1/2 inch at Alexandria, just short of an inch at International Falls, and 1/2 to an inch in the eastern part of North Dakota. However, in the 24-hour precipitation outlook, it appears that parts of southern Minnesota and north-central Texas would get an inch of rain, with 2 inches possible, parts of Iowa and Oklahoma. And an inch is possible in the Twin Cities area over the next 24 hours. Our forecast for the afternoon is increasing cloudiness with a chance of rain by late afternoon, but there could be some heavy rain tonight and tomorrow. Afternoon temperature of the Twin Cities at 69. When the noon report continues, Bill Carlson will be talking about the opera and the orchestra and the comings and goings from Minnesota.
Spruce up and save with Olympic stains from Menards. Olympic latex and weather screen stains are on sale now. Plus, use this coupon for a $1.50 mail-in rebate. Give anyone a beautiful, flat, mellow look with Olympic latex stains and rich, solid colors. They're on sale now at Menards. And with the mail-in rebate, your cost is just $7.99 a gallon. For natural, long-lasting beauty, choose Olympic stains and save. But hurry, the Spruce Up sale ends Saturday at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Kellogg's Nutri-Grain.
This is dedicated to the ones we love.
Okay, I know his swing has lost some of its zing, but to me, he's still pretty nifty. So no morning goes by without his Nutri-Grain cereal. Nutri-Grain has no sugar added, no preservatives or cholesterol. It's full of the natural whole grain that's so good for him. And he loves that special Nutri-Grain taste, almost as much as I love him.
Nutri-Grain from Kellogg's.
Dedicated to the ones we love.
I'm going to bring up a subject that's in most everyone's mouth, but nobody talks about. Hard, crusty tartar. This can scrape it away, but no toothpaste can control it except this one. New Tartar Control Formula Crest. It turns your toothbrush into a tartar-fighting tool because it's the only toothpaste clinically proven by dentists to fight both cavities and tartar. Look, tartar is so hard, only your dentist or hygienist can scrape it away. But you can significantly reduce ugly tartar buildup between dental visits with Tartar Control Crest. So why just fight tartar twice a year when you can fight it every day? With new Tartar Control Formula Crest in the silver box. It turns your toothbrush into a tartar-fighting tool.
Freedom, the greatest gift your country gives. Help preserve it by taking stock in America. Buy United States Savings Bonds.
Bill Carlson this noon is at Northrop Auditorium at the University of Minnesota with two stories. Bill?
Debbie, it's quite a day. It's moving day here at the University of Minnesota Northrop Auditorium. The man in charge of the move today of the Metropolitan Opera into the Twin Cities is Chuck Bonner, who has been doing this kind of job for quite some time.
Yes, as a matter of fact, 21 years, and it's a great undertaking. It's a lot of logistical problems. We move with about 24 trailers of equipment, 350 people. As a matter of fact, the first flight, jet United Airlines landed about an hour ago, a little late this year, but it's a tremendous undertaking.
We were here a little bit earlier this morning, and as things were getting underway, you do have to prepare for how many performances in just a couple of hours?
There's 7 performances this week in 6 days, and we have one truckload of electrical equipment we just had on the screen, followed by the scenery that's going in that set up a tremendous job done by the crew. To get this all ready. There is a truck of musical instruments. You have about 1,250 costumes, 350 wigs. I think I can't even keep track of everything.
I heard a figure of 180,000 pounds of gear you transport? Is that
That's correct, as a matter of fact. We split it up by operas, and every night there is an opera that goes out to the next city. They leapfrog around the country. But the musical instruments, the electrical equipment, that stays in the building. So we do transport an awful lot of things around the country.
It's Lohengrin tonight. 180,000 pounds, 350 people. Two plane loads of people just came in, you said.
That's right.
It's remarkable. With the exception of the elephants, you're doing almost as much as the circus does.
We have been compared to that on occasion, to be very honest.
Chuck, I'm going to move to our Twin City coordinator of the Metropolitan activities, and Marianne Feldman also works with the Minnesota Orchestra. We're going to talk a little bit about them in a few minutes. But you were doing some reminiscing, Marianne, here just a moment ago.
Oh, right here, Bill. We kids used to buy our own opera tickets with babysitting and hedge-cutting money. We'd come here to Northrop to the opera, and then come backstage right by this door, hang around.
This very door.
Look for Roberta Peters or Brise Stevens.
Or Ezio Pinza, you said.
Ezio Pinza. That was the very first year, Bill, that we came.
Now, I know that there are, 3 people who have seen every single performance for all 40 years.
That's right. 3 of them, including Belle Mayhus, a voice teacher from Bismarck, North Dakota. This year, they will total up 239 Metropolitan Opera performances at Northrop. Never missed a year.
That's quite an event. And this year, the shows are...
We start with Lohengrin tonight, and it's an opening night for which there still are some seats, so people can join the excitement. It starts at 7 o'clock already. Tomorrow night, Tchaikovsky, a rare treat to hear Tchaikovsky's Eugene Onegin. And Wednesday night, La Boheme, the great Zeffirelli production comes
It's
back.
going to be quite a thing. Incidentally, we mentioned the Minnesota Orchestra does leave today for Australia, right?
6:30 tonight. 2 tons of Minnesota Orchestra go off into the air, but megatons of the Met are now here.
Okay. And you know, in a very unusual way, the visit of the Minnesota Orchestra to Australia kind of completes a circle begun in the early 1920s. April 1924, the first recorded sounds of the then Minneapolis Symphony. The orchestra was under the baton of Henry Verbruggen, its second conductor, who had then been with the organization just 2 years. He had been a violin protege, giving his first concert at age 9 in his native Belgium. He also gained renown with the Verbruggen String Quartet before leaving for Australia. His son, Philippe Verbruggen, recalls.
Your father had gone to Australia when?
In 1915.
To do what job specifically?
To become the first director of the first Conservatorium of Music under the Department of Education of the state of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia. Father went out there. He was one of 134 applicants for the position, and he got it. And he just loved it.
And the Australians remember him.
The orchestra hall in the conservatorium has been dedicated to Henry Verbruggen.
Then in 1922 came the opportunity to conduct an orchestra of growing reputation, the Minneapolis Symphony.
Oberhofer had had it for 19 years, and he wanted to, retire.
Did your father jump at the chance?
He came over and guest conducted, and Mr. Elbert Carpenter was on the board of directors, and he says, that's the man we want, and I guess that was it.
The memorabilia of the famous father fills the Verbruggen household, and Philippe is proud to share his memories.
This was the original.
That's the original. When he was 13 years of age, he gave his first concert with an orchestra. This one was in Sydney, Beethoven Festival.
And these medals?
These are medals. See? Adrufsky is here, also Yehudi Menuhin. And there are others, but they're all, amongst his memorabilia. We're trying to get to house his memorabilia now, someplace where they'll take care of it.
As the Minnesota Orchestra prepares today to reverse the trip taken by his famous father, Philippe Verbruggen had these comments.
I think they'll have a really wonderful time. I really do. I wished I could ride along on their shirt tails.
And I think there are many of us who wish we could ride along on their shirt tails. Debbie, it's quite a day out here, but most of the crew has gone to lunch now, so things have shut down for a few minutes, but there's going to be frantic activity all afternoon.
All right. Thank you very much, Bill. The season ends in a shootout for the Strikers. Tony Parker has that story coming up next.
I wish Mommy was here.
Who do you think made Mommy feel better when she was your age?
You, Grandpa?
Over 20 million times every year, people bring their prescriptions to a Kmart pharmacy.
2 teaspoons?
For top brand name pharmaceuticals or generic equivalents where allowed.
Feels better.
And precise computerized prescription service, all at a Kmart price.
I thought this might make you feel better, too.
You can't do better than
That comes in its own unique decorator bag. Riches introduces the incredible dessert decorator. We build the decorator tip right in, so you can make pies perkier, puddings prettier, sundaes swirlier, cakes classier, and gelatin jollier. Add great taste, fun, and flair to any dessert. Try Riches Whipped Topping, the incredible dessert decorator, now in your grocer's freezer.
Here lies a mystery that would make Agatha Christie proud. The victim was a policeman found dead in this field. It was ruled suicide. But then several of his fellow officers were implicated in a police burglary ring, a ring our victim may very well have stumbled upon.
I'm of the definite opinion that Jim Shaw was murdered. I believe that Jim was silenced because of information that he had gathered.
Was it suicide or murder? I'm Dave Nimmer. We'll unravel the clues tonight on the 10 p.m. report.
They were working out for a good cause yesterday in the Twin Cities. Many held a Sweat-A-Thon from 8 to 5 to raise money for the Save the Children and other hunger relief projects. Organizers hope to raise more than $6,000. Well, first it was the North Stars who got our hopes up, and now the Strikers.
And the Strikers did a good job, like the North Stars, but not enough. But maybe that's good. That keeps you coming back for more next year. I think so.
Well, the soccer season came to an end in a shootout last night in Met Center. The Strikers clawed their way to a 3-3 tie with the San Diego Sockers, but Steve Zungel's penalty shot following overtime eluded Strikers goalie Tino Luteri, and San Diego won the best-of-5 playoff 3-1. The underdog Strikers put up a whale of a battle against superior forces, really. Thompson Usian got Minnesota off to an early 1-0 lead, drilling one home on a carom off the boards. But a pure hat trick by Branko Segota forced the Strikers to battle from behind the rest of the way. Ray Hudson tied it at 3 when he scored for Minnesota in the closing minutes of the fourth quarter. Now, in the shootout, Steve Zungel here, the 14th man to take a shot, deked Tino Luteri and hooked his penalty shot into the left corner. Now, that left it up to Bain to keep the Strikers alive, and he makes a fine attempt here to score, but the Sockers goalie will deflect it at the very last second, and the playoffs come to an end for the Strikers. Again, the final score after this was 4-3. San Diego, they eliminate the Strikers. A good crowd of about 8,000 on hand to watch that season finale. Well, a first-inning grand slam by D.H. Randy Bush gave the Twins a 7-3 win over the Orioles yesterday in Baltimore. Bush came up for only his 8th trip to the plate for the season and drilled Ken Dixon's pitch into the right field stands. It was Bush's 2nd hit of the season and his 2nd homer. He went 3 for 5 yesterday. Kent Herbeck went 4 for 5, improving his batting average to .250. The double coming up next drove the pair of runs that nailed down the win for Frank Viola. Viola was great, going all the way for his 6th win of the year. He was cruising along with a shutout until Fred Lynn struck again in the 9th inning. Lynn won the first 2 games of the series with those 9th inning homers. He got one in the final frame last night with 2 men on base to make the final score 7-3. The Angels lost 7-4 to Milwaukee, so they now lead the Twins by 2 games. The Twins open a 2-game series tonight against the Yankees in New York. Well, the New York Knicks were the winners in the special NBA lottery, which gives the Knicks the first pick in next month's college draft of basketball stars. The drawing among the NBA teams, which did not make the playoffs, assures the Knicks the chance now to draft Georgetown All-American Patrick Ewing. Yesterday in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals, the Boston Celtics, led by Kevin McHale's 28 points, beat Philadelphia 108-93 in the first game of their best-of-7 series. The Celtics had balance. Robert Parrish had 26 for them, and Larry Bird chipped in with 23 more. Well, those amazing Chicago Blackhawks did it again last night. They beat Edmonton 8-6 to level that 7-game Stanley Cup playoff at 2 games apiece. There were 8 goals in the first period, including this one by Gretzky. He eludes the defenseman and then puts on a great shot to make the goal. The Hawks took a 2-1 lead while shorthanded. Ed Olczyk beat Grant Fuhr at a tremendous slap shot here. The Hawks dropped the first 2 of the Oilers, but the battle is on now. Here's one of the reasons coming up that the Hawks are so tough. Dennis Savard, who provides great leadership, plays the game. He passed to Lamper here and got it back and scored. Again, the final 8-6 Chicago. They're tied at 2-2, and the other conference playoff is also tied. They're tied at 2 games apiece between Quebec and the other team there.
After all of Billy Martin's complaining last week about the Metrodome, it's going to be interesting to see how those Yankees fare in their own home field against the Twins tonight.
Tonight, the Twins probably want to win that more than any game to show them they can win them beat them on grass, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Bruce Springsteen is apparently married today. He and his wife, 25-year-old Julianne Phillips, were scheduled to get married Wednesday, but they reportedly decided to move it up because of all of the media attention. It was said to be a private Catholic wedding, and it was held in Oregon. Remembering our local history, that story and another weather check coming up next.
Thanks to the K, you can't pinch an inch. Thanks to the K, you can't pinch an inch on me.
With the help of the 220-calorie Kellogg's Special K breakfast and those big, crispy, low-sugar, high-protein flakes, I can't think of a tastier or better way to start my day.
Thanks to the K, you can't pinch an inch on me.
Who's there helping Mom when she's up with the sun? Who helps her make lunch, great tasting and fun? Who's there when Mom's not to help us eat well? His first name is John, his last name's Morrell. As a matter of fact, next to a dad, John Morrell is the best friend a Mom ever had. Who makes the pranks that make Mom say, gee, thanks? You got it!
You talked, and at W Light 103 FM, they listened.
You said you enjoy a wide variety of music, including your favorite oldies. And 80% of you who listen to W Light said a lot of music is very important. Most of you who listen to KS 95 told us a lot of music is important to you, too. You don't have to say it twice. You want more music? Listen to W Light 103 FM. It's light rock and less talk.
Wherever soybean growers have a problem with broadleaf weeds, when Basagran goes over, it's over. When Basagran goes over cockleburr and smartweed, it's over. When Basagran goes over velvet leaf, Jimson weed, and wild mustard, it's over. Basagran by itself or tank mixed, it's economical and gentle on your crop. Wherever the problem is broadleaf weeds, when Basagran goes over, it's over.
The Minnesota Public Utilities Commission has been asked to approve a rate increase for natural gas customers in St. Paul. NSP is asking for a 7% rate hike. The company says that higher costs and lower sales are the reason for the increase. Well, if the weather gets much cooler, we might have to turn that gas on.
Hey, you said we were going to have a weather check. Could I write you a blank check? Say, if you see a flash of black and orange in your yard, followed by another flash of black and orange, you know that the Orioles are battling over territory. The Northern Orioles are here. We used to call them the Baltimore Orioles, but now officially these are the Northern Orioles that are in the Twin Cities. They look beautiful in the sunshine, and it's partly sunny now in the Twin Cities, with the temperature at 65 degrees, humidity at 34%, winds from the northeast, 10 miles an hour. Pressure reading is 30.04, and the pressure is rising. So at the moment, it's partly sunny at the airport station, temperature at 65. Early morning temperatures were in the range of 30s, 40s, and 50s over the upper Mississippi Valley. We'll pick that middle number. 40 has been our minimum for the Twin Cities. We've got some 20s out to the west of us this morning at Missoula, Montana. The temperature was 24 degrees. That's a minimum temperature record for the day. Well, there's been some snow up the north and central Rockies over the last 24 hours, snowing right now at Aspen and Alamosa, and a lot of rain. In fact, there are tornado watches for parts of Kansas, would be right in here. Kansas, Oklahoma, northern Texas, tornado watches through the afternoon. But heavy rain is forecast from north central Texas right up to the southern part of Minnesota. The rain is moving to the north through Iowa and has reached about Mason City. It's going to continue to move to the north, and we have a slight chance of showers late afternoon in the metro area. That low-pressure center is in Oklahoma. There's a good, strong cold front in Texas, and rain all along that line, along this warm front. If this were wintertime, you know what that would mean in our metro area, but it looks like it's going to be heavy rain in the 90s at Brownsville, 80s around Atlanta, 70s in the Boston area, and upper 60s to around 70 through the western states for the afternoon. San Francisco at 70. Our forecast for the Twin Cities this afternoon is increasing cloudiness, a slight chance of late afternoon showers, 69 for the high, northeast winds. Tonight, cloudy, rain likely, chance of thunderstorms, heavy rain is possible, 48 degrees tonight. And the forecast for tomorrow is again rain likely, possible thunderstorms, so we could get some heavy rain. Be around 60 tomorrow in the Twin Cities. So a rainy, cool spell in the Twin Cities.
Well, at least you're consistent.
Wednesday.
Rain, 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 cool, cool, cool. Thanks, Bud.
A little variety would be nice.
There are weeks and days set aside for virtually everything, and we thought you would be interested to know that in Minneapolis, this is Historic Preservation Week. It was kicked off this morning by Mayor Don Frazier. It started with a breakfast at the courthouse and then a carriage ride to the Lumber Exchange building. That building is 100 years old this year. Historic Preservation Week was proclaimed to call our attention to Minneapolis's historic sites, including the Masonic Temple, the old library, and the courthouse. And that wraps it up for us today. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow.
There's so much for your eyes at the optical department at Sears during our Spectacle Spectacular. Fantastic savings on fashion and designer eyewear. We'll make you look good at prices that'll make you feel good. Come in and look us over.
Don't tell Dad. It would kill him. I didn't want anyone to know about this, but since you do, all I can do is plead with you. Please don't tell him. Don't use this against me. Jack. Please.
That will depend on you, Ashley. It all depends on you.
What I tell my friends is, I buy Stouffer's lean cuisine because it's always less than 300 calories. And it's low in fat. And it makes it easy to watch your weight. And it's a very good idea to eat light. But I have to confess, that's not really why I buy it. I buy it for the taste.
Lean cuisine entrees from Stouffer's. It's not just the calories that count, it's the taste.
Health the hair, uncover your highlight. Health the hair, discover your glow. Health the hair, every color of hair can be Health the hair.
Elsa, 5 new Swedish botanical shampoos and conditioners.
Elsa Marigold highlights blondes. Ginger root lights the fire of red.
Health the hair, uncover your highlight. Health the hair, discover your glow. Health the hair.
Uncover your highlights, discover your glow. Elsa.
Do cats love the great taste of Friskies? You bet. It's the taste that has them jumping for joy and walking on air. Friskies has a way of baking that great flavor right in. The great taste of Friskies. Very satisfying.
The Young and the Restless was recorded.
This is CBS.
A Philadelphia neighborhood turned war zone. The search is on for the radical group police were trying to bomb out.
A group of protesters at Honeywell in Minneapolis were arrested this morning. And Bloomington officials announced plans for the site where Met Stadium used to stand. Also, no seatbelt law for Minnesota and no title for Miss Minnesota.
Details are coming up on today's Noon Report.
Got a sign in the bar says, "Oh, you can drink for $1." Drunk walks in, says, "How much can I drink for 2?" After lunch, this guy gets so loaded he's got to use the freight elevator. Talk about drunk driving. He's got a bumper sticker that says, "Forget the whales. Save the martini."
If someone close to you has a drinking problem, you know alcoholism is no laughing matter. So call Care Unit. The disease is alcoholism. The answer is Care Unit.
As control.
The fundamental things apply as